suppose we can move on to my report now. My report is very brief in terms of what I could have written. There's a lot of things. I'm not one for being too wordy about things, and I did quite intentionally cut it down to a very short document because I knew that this was going to be. We were definitely going to be running behind, as we are. If I just speak very briefly about what I do, those are some specific. Those are really just the key top things that kind of made the list. In general, I spend a lot of time doing a lot of the admin type work for the association to make sure that it actually is still working. So quite a bit of my work goes into that area, as well as attending various the quality committees, which is what I see as one of my core functions as well. And there's quite a lot of those, and quite a lot of reading work to be done in attending those, and making sure that I am actually aware of the issues going into those meetings. I'm quite happy for people to pull me apart here, but I would ask them to do it rather quickly. We have yes.
Actually, it's not a pulling report at all, because you've written obviously a lot there, and I know that it's not necessarily always the stuff which the Deputy President does is not necessarily very glamorous at all. It's often a lot of behind-the-scenes thing. I just wondered, because obviously there's a lot of acknowledgement going on today about how much work is going on, and you kind of get the feeling that it's coming across a little bit more negative and we're not celebrating the good things. So what out of the things that you've done since last Student Council would you say was the most, perhaps it's something you attended or anything else like that, what would you say was the most helpful in terms of, or the most rewarding in terms of your role?
On a personal level, I went to the International Student Conference in Milton Keynes. It was 3 days, and we were talking about there was many bits of it, and it was incredible to meet the people who were there from all parts of the world who had come here to study the ambitions of higher education and further education as well. And one of the things that they did in the evenings, in addition to elections and all kinds of stuff, was they showed a video about asylum seekers and deportation, and that absolute appalling treatment of people who end up in the country and then, for whatever reason, are no longer allowed to stay. People who have been detained for up to 5 years in prison conditions. It made a huge impact on me. I'm about to cry. We're sitting here, and I feel extremely privileged to sit here and be discussing meaningless papers when other people are sitting in prison-like conditions around the world. They are in war-torn areas, and here we are talking about things that to them must seem like luxuries. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no more questions. Yes.
I hope I'm not going to make you cry by asking. I really appreciate your comments there about that, and I'm totally with you on that. And it makes me feel a little embarrassed to bring this up. I was just going to say about the website, and I was just going to ask if we could expand on getting some help.
Yes. Yes. The website is it exists, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's very functional yet. The problem is, once again, it's a matter of websites. Actually, for anyone who works in a company and maybe uses the website, it's not a matter of just like going, oh, well, we have a website, we'll stick something up. To actually have an effective website, it's a bit like Facebook. You can't just sort of leave it there. You have to update it. You have to change the content. You have to keep refreshing, keep moving things around. That's why companies have dedicated web developers and members of staff in marketing who do these kind of things. We don't, really. We have to stick things up one at a time, bits and pieces here and there. The number of times I've had to frantically try and shove something onto a website somewhere while trying to prepare for a meeting at the same time and do other things, I cannot count them. I don't have enough fingers and toes, or bones probably in my body for that. So there's issues there in terms of, and it's very hard to expand it without some dedicated time. And hopefully over the summer, when the officers will be less busy, there will be time to sort of work on expanding it so that for the start of next year, it will be in a more usable condition and hopefully a more useful tool for engagement. I think in particular, as the president of the Science Society, you're probably referring particularly to the area that's going to be used for clubs and societies and making sure that that's something that's actually a valuable tool to you.
Yeah, cool. I appreciate that.
Anyone else? I'm aware that I'm cutting into the time for Alan. And if you do have further comments, I'd be very happy to deal with them outside of the, you can, formal or informal or however you like. I'm very happy to take comments and criticisms in any forum, except Facebook, which I dislike.